time.
But as a Marshal, when you were the Vice Chief of Staff, any experience that you would like to share with us? Something which can be shared, but something which is truly unique and truly inspiring, or it's jaw-dropping for anyone else to hear, because we don't get to hear these stories very often. Anything as
Okay, I'll tell you something interesting. I don't know. We had a team in the Air Force, which was part of the Adventure Cell, and we trained people in mountaineering and in survival. The basic thing was to teach survival training. Because if you were shot down or you had an engine failure and you had to eject in the snow, or I was telling you about in the north, in this jungle, I can't tell you how thick and how impenetrable it is. How would you survive? Okay? So we do a lot of survival training, which means it involves mountaineering and it involves survival training in the forest, trekking, all these things are encouraged. So we had a team which we used very often. We would lose an aeroplane up in some totally inaccessible area. Now, to find out what happened and to get to that place, no roads, nothing, absolute wilderness, absolute thick forest, mountainous terrain, we would send these teams in. Okay, the survival team. Now, we had an AM-12, an AM-32 airplane, which is our main transport aircraft, which disappeared somewhere up in the north, beyond Ladakh, between Ladakh and the other side. This airplane had wanted to do a supply dropping mission, and it disappeared. It never came back with a full crew. Now we had sent out this team to find it. Now they went out. Now they're trekking. Okay, they're trekking and they're surviving and they're going through this terrain, looking for this aeroplane. It's absolute wilderness. And they would ask people on the way. They would go to these remote villages where they would find shepherds and find people out remote in these remote areas and ask them, "Did you see anything?" Finally, they found the aeroplane because they found one of the villagers wearing a pair of boots. Okay, flying boots. Now, so where do you get these boots from? So the chap got very afraid. He said, "No, don't be afraid. We're just asking you." And he said, "I bought them from a shepherd in so-and-so mountain village, way up there." He named the village, which they'd never heard. So they got directions to there, and it took them a couple of weeks to trek there, and they got to that village. And then when they got to that village, they started asking around, and they finally, after offering pay and inducement to one of the guys, who said, "Yes, I know that an aeroplane crashed in so-and-so place." And they didn't want to tell them because what they were doing is they were stealing all the stuff from this aeroplane, whatever they could. Anyway, they went up, they found the wreckage. And in the wreckage, there were troops on board with their weapons. They found all these troops, the dead bodies there. Their uniforms had all faded because years and years had passed. All the pilots were in the cockpit. The whole aircraft was smashed. And then they found that all these bodies were there, but there were no weapons. That means these locals had come in there and taken away all the rifles, taken away all that was useful to them. And so after many years, we were able to find an aircraft like this. And what this meant was that we were able to get the names of all the people on board, finally send helicopters in, bring back all the bodies, and then give closure to the relatives. Yes, this is what happened, we have found. And this aircraft probably went down there somewhere in the 1950s. And finally we found it when I was vice chief.
95, 96.
In 1970, 1997.
1997.
Now that doesn't end there. These teams of ours that go out into the forests and into the inaccessible areas were used by, they were, during the Second World War, they were what they call the humping operations. There were about 15 airfields in the east and in North Bengal, which were used to flying in supplies for the Chinese army who were fighting the Japanese in the Second World War. And that was called the humping operation. They had to go over the Himalayan mountains and land on the other side. Now the weather over the Himalayan mountains is terrible. You get severe up and down drafts, thunderstorms like you've never seen before. And a lot of these aeroplanes used to not make it across. And on the way back, they would bring wounded Chinese troops and put them in hospitals on all these airfields, like Kalaikunda and Siliguri, all these airfields. Tezpur, Walmart, Dinja, and so on. Chabua. A lot of the fighter aircraft which used to escort these bombers were also crashing, getting caught in thunderstorms and crashing. Now the people, their families in the United States want closure. They want to know what happened to this guy, what happened to these people. And the amount of wreckages that we have found in the 80s and 90s up in those mountains, our teams have found. And then their relatives from America would come across and take whatever remains there, whatever, you'd find flags or you'd find pieces of uniform, whatever. And then you could correlate it with an aeroplane that was lost. So these aeroplanes lost in 1945 or 1944 were being found
in the 90s.
Yes.
And these are things of the Air Force we don't know about. This work carried out by the Air Force. Which were, but of course, moving on to a lighter side of the topic, or lighter side of the day. You retired, you came back to Bangalore, and you're actively involved with Joseph's, St. Joseph Boys High School's activities. What brings you back to school? Time and again, because you, as we know, you've seen different sides of the world from up there and from below.
Well, I must, I was so busy with flying, so busy with my career in the Air Force that I hardly had a chance, except when I came back when I needed St. Joseph's and I needed Alvi for maths. To my regret, I'd forgotten about St. Joseph's for a long time. It was not on the radar. But when I came to Air Headquarters, my uncle, Alan McBride, who was a hockey coach and librarian here for a long time, he wrote to me and said, "What's wrong with you? You've forgotten your school, you've forgotten." And so he admonished me, and he included a form and said, "Application to join the OBA." And said, "Something you've been overlooking, it's about time you did it. Do it now and enclose your check." So I joined. So then again, after I retired, I didn't stop working. I would work for the Confederation of Indian Industry. CII. They asked me to set up some centers of excellence, which are glorious names for training centers. The first one I set up here was in Bangalore, the Institute of Quality on Marshal. And then after that, the Institute of Traditional Management, which is in Bombay. It's Green Business Center in Hyderabad, Logistic Management Center in Madras, and the Institute of Leadership and Human Resources in Calcutta. I was involved in this all of this. And after I finished that, a few years later, I found there was too much of traveling and and I was involved in training also. We used to train 3 levels of management, total quality management, for which I had to qualify myself. And we used to run also the exemplary Business Excellence Award, for which I was a senior assessor. Did that for several years, and then decided to quit again. Because, as you can see, I'm losing my voice. I found I was losing my voice with all this training and all.
Exertion.
No, I wanted to enjoy life a little more, and quit from work. So after I achieved all this, CIA, I then told CIA I want to retire. And they said, no, you stay as senior mentor, visit all these places in town, and see that they are running according to the quality principles that you set up. And I said, no, I don't want to be looking over people's shoulder and telling them, they're all smarter than me, they're all younger than me, they're all better qualified than I am. Let them run their business and let me go.
And then you came back.
So I had time now
Okay.
to take part in activities with my school.
Yes.
It's time to pay back.
Came back to the foundation.
Yes,
I mean, foundation as your own foundation
Yes.
because you keep the school in high regard.
exactly.
And what does an associate like the OBA mean to you? Or what does Joseph mean to you? The emotion attached with it. St. Joseph.
It's hard to describe. It's an emotional thing. It goes back to where it all began. And so those feelings that you have, and I'm 80 now, so what does one do when you're 80? You dream of what you did and what went past. There's not much in the future, but what you can do is give back a bit.
Try your best to help others out.
Yes, I've always done that.
Yes,
A lot of people helped me out. A lot of people along the way. I had mentors, I had people who, reached out a helping hand. And I've always felt that I should do that in turn. Mind you, and you do it for selfish reasons too, because you feel very good when you do it. There's a feel good
Very
feeling
good feeling.
when you help somebody else.
Yes. And now to all the people, youngsters like me, all the youth, to people who are going to branch out into different fields of careers, different industries, is there something you'd like to tell everybody?
Nothing. There's nothing I'd like to tell you. All I would like to tell you is enjoy what you're doing. First of all, do something you enjoy. Enjoy what you're doing, and then put your heart and soul into it.
So Marshal, thank you so much for your time. This was a pleasure talking to you, and more like a privilege because it's very important that youngsters like us know what has happened in building this country and bringing the country to where it is today. Because otherwise, all we see is whatever we put out in the media or in the news. But these are the stories that we hardly get to hear. So thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Well, what matters today is you, not me. Our time is past. It is you, and we have a great faith in you because I tell you one thing. The generations of today, and I saw it today out on the field outside when the school assembly took place. You're much better than we were.
Thank you so much, Marshal.